Design strategy. Yeah.
All right, welcome to First. Welcome to this one. How many rookies? We have a lot of rookies this year. This is good.
This is good.
Next year you won't be a rookie. Tough year, your first year. But maybe this will help a little bit. I want to talk about your design strategy in terms of how you deal with it as a team, and then how do you win on the field. My name is Robert Steele. I'm the coach of Team 1983 Skunkworks from Aviation High School in Des Moines. We've had some clear success. We've done pretty well in the last 2 years. We've only been a team for 2 years, although I've been involved in First for about 9 years. So primarily in the Midwest, because I moved out here from Indiana 3 years ago. So anyway, let's talk about what you do. Okay, this is an overview of what I want to talk about. The foundation of how you do well, form strategy, know the game, brainstorm, making up sub-teams, presentations, team decisions, etc. Be ready to change, and then the final exam. The final exam, for many of you, how many of you are going to Portland, by the way? Anybody? We have a few teams going to Portland. So your final exam, you'll have a 2-part final exam. Unless you win Rookie All-Star, which means you might have a 3-part final exam. So I don't know if you realize the structure first. Since so many of your rookies, I'm going to go through a very basic thing here. You're going to get your robot parts on January the 3rd. You're going to have to put your robot parts into a box on February the 17th. Hopefully they will be assembled into some kind of a robot. You will ship it on that day. Everybody in the entire country ships it by 5 o'clock on February 17th on that Tuesday. Finished or not. If you do not ship it, that will be the end of your season because you can't play. So then there are, starting 1.5 weeks after that, there are 6 weeks of regionals. But you know, 6 weeks. The Portland regional is the 2nd week, and the Seattle regional is the 5th week. Then you go to the 6th week, and there's only, I think, one or two regionals that week, and then the week after that are the championships in Atlanta. Well, I'll talk about a little bit more about this later, but the question becomes, you know, you're going to be pretty busy between here and here. Probably busier than you've ever been. It'll be a lot of fun, but you're going to be very busy, and it's going to be very stressful. You need to prepare for that. Use the time as wisely as you can. Then, it's like, okay, I'm free until I got 5 weeks. But you got to be working all the way through here, too. The thing is, you don't have a robot. So what do you do? And we'll talk about what you can do in there to help you on that 5th week. Or if you're going to the 2nd week, what do you do here, and then what do you do here? I can tell you the single secret, I don't tell anybody, the single secret to winning matches and playing this game well is being able to drive the robot. And you could have the greatest mechanism in the world, incredible autonomous, but if you can't drive the robot for 2 minutes, and you may say, oh, that's easy, I can drive the robot. It's not easy. The robot may look like it drives. So for instance, if you were a team and you were operating out of this classroom, and you built your robot, you go, hey, I got carpet here, I'm going to drive the robot. You drive it up and down here a few times. I know how to drive the robot. You don't know how to drive the robot. You have to be able to drive that robot when it's 50 feet away. And also, you have to remember about the perspective of things. If I have a robot moving away from me, I can control it. It's pretty easy. Coming back to me, oh, wait a minute, all the controls are reversed because now it's the opposite direction. It's not like driving a car where you're always facing the same way. The robot, when the robot changes orientation, you have to change orientation up here. And the way you do that is by practicing to do it. So, I'm inviting all of you right now. We have a field at our school. You're welcome to come anytime. Just call, email me, let me know when you're coming. Come, bring your robot, and drive it. The main thing, get your drive system operating. In your first year, you got to make a simple one. Simple, tried, true, easy one to do. Get that thing working, load it up with some weight, and then bring it to our school and then drive it on a full-size field. You're welcome to come. Even if you don't have a drive system, if you want to come down, you got some guys interested in driving, drive one of our robots. Come down and drive it. Get used to being on the field. So that's the one secret. So don't tell anybody else I told you that, because that'll spoil everything. So we're going to talk about what the strategy for competition is. The foundation comes before kickoff, and this is very much part of it. You need to know your team. You need to do some fall team building. And this is one of them. You came here with your team. I'm going to go back and get on my team because I only have 6 kids on my team here. I don't know why, although we've been busy for the last 4 weeks. Fall team builders are great. We do things like for fundraising, we will auction off a yard cleanup. He said, oh, what's that? And I was like, well, we get about $300, and we go and we take the team to somebody's yard, and they tell us what they want to do, and we work for 4 hours together. And it's more than the $300. It's about learning how to work together. You know, you may be digging dirt, maybe pulling weeds, you may be doing all sorts of things, but everybody gets dirty together, and then we clean up, we go have dinner somewhere. That's a fall team builder. And you need to be doing that. Learn about each other, because you're going to be closer to each other than you want to be for about 6 weeks. For these 6 weeks, you guys are going to be working really hard together, and the more you know about each other and develop relationships, the better off you're going to be, because you're going to be a family. So, you're already doing some of that, because some of you are already here. You need to assess what resources your team has, and be honest with yourself. What do you have in the way of equipment to build a robot? What do you have in the way of talent on your team? What are your mentors? What can they do? What talent do your students already have? There are lots of things to do in FIRST, and it's not all the robots. How much money do you have? The second greatest thing. What do you think the second key to winning matches is? First one is learning how to drive. What's the second one?
Having a robot.
Well, that would be a 0 one. You can't win without a robot. What about, you're close though. What's the second one?
Having a robot work.
Having 2 robots. You build a second robot. Now most of you the first year can't do that. You don't have the resources. If you build a second robot, just what you're doing between here and here, you can practice drive the entire time because you have it at home. When it's in the crate in Portland or in Seattle, you can't drive it. But if you build a second one, you can drive it and learn how to drive it and practice. Even if it doesn't have all the rest of the bells and whistles that the other robot does, at least you can practice driving. That'll make a huge difference when you get there. Believe me. Big difference. There are robots. I know many teams will build a robot, throw it in a crate, and because they work so hard for 5 or 6 weeks, they go, oh man, I'm done now. And they blow the rest of the time off. They get there, uncrate the robot, and they've never even driven it. And they get out and they drive it once, and it's like, wait a minute, what happened? And the chain slips off. And they go, oh yeah, we never drove it, so we never would know that the chain would slip off if we put too much power to one side. So now what do we fix it? So there are a lot of things you should be doing. So assess that, and assess what kind of leaders you have on your team too. Find out what kind of leadership you have. I do that as a mentor. Not only from students, but also from mentors. And then you can also develop some skills. And you're doing that today too. Training, design skills, learning how to sketch maybe. You might learn how to sketch. Probably a good idea. Or if you want to learn how to use Inventor, you can actually get Inventor now. Inventor, how many people know what Inventor is? Inventor is a 3D design program. Pretty easy to use. I teach it at my school. But you can actually get that right now. You don't have to wait. You can get it, put it on a few computers, and there's some tutorials you can run through, and you can learn how to sketch. And by the time January rolls around, you could use that to formulate your design and actually use it to make parts if you want.